Oh, damn it. In my haste to get us connected live, I forgot to update the stream info. So now it's showing last week's information instead of this week's. So give me just a second. Have to change that up real quick. Ugh.
And it quickly become one of our show gimmicks.
Right.
Scrambling in the beginning. What's happening here?
What in the hell? Let's see here. Do not disturb on that. All right. Now that's here. Oh gosh. This is, you are correct. This is our shtick. This is our bread and butter. It's just not having just our shit together just right at time. But you know what?
The world's most incompetent nerds. Maybe we should get
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
In here to help out.
Right? So
they probably fire everybody and then purge the systems.
Absolutely. Shit. All right, so oh shit, yes. Worked out great. So
Ooh.
So we are live onto that one. We are live onto the rules of Nerdquisition. We are live onto everywhere on that. So now we just have to go live onto the Raja. Let me get my shit in order real quick on that. There we go. All right. Ha 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 ha. And now we're live everywhere. On all the stuffs.
All the stuffs and all the places.
All the stuffs and all the places. We are updating the live.
Stuffer places.
Ha ha. And updating all of this. All of that. And, and I think that's what makes us so endearing to our audience, is that just because, we never start on time, and they see just they get on the ADHD train all alongside with us, Yeah.
We spend the first 10 minutes of our show chasing squirrels.
Squirrel.
All right, we're good to go though.
Yeah, we are good to go on
everywhere.
Well, on YouTube's and everything like that, but not on TikTok just yet. I'm getting TikTok squared away, but yeah, go ahead. We just go ahead and start.
TikTok can catch up.
TikTok can catch up.
I would say it's the time. It's actually almost 10 minutes past the time, because that's what we do. We start late. We scramble. We shuffle around. We don't know what in the hell we're doing. But this is the Rules of Nerdquisition. I am Gretchen. This is Gilbert, and we are back yet for another episode. I'm kind of excited about today's topic, even if I'm not so excited about the episode itself. Today's episode is Friday's Child. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It has Catwoman in it.
It has Catwoman in it. Julie Newmar, Miss Julie Newmar, who is still with us, by the way.
So
I could not add her to my kill to death ratio, but I'm actually grateful for that. However, this episode was season 2, episode 11, directed by Joseph Pevney, written by DC Fontana. I have issues with DC Fontana. You wrote some weird stuff, man. And we're going to talk about the costumes that this warrior race is wearing.
Yeah, it's warrior race. What is going on with this warriors? I'm not even sure where to start with this because So let's just start with opening the episode on this because quite honestly, it just opened up with Kirk and the crew going to this planet where Bones had been there before to negotiate some minerals, and Klingons were there, and it was a whole society of warriors, and they had a certain
warriors in pajamas. So the Enterprise crew, we get to this planet, right? They're beaming down. They want a contract for some mining rights and stuff, and lo and behold, there's a Klingon there. Krass, the Klingon emissary, is there, and I don't know why. Kirk, are you not training your people very well? The dude's just like, a Klingon! And then just
Klingon
whips his gun, whips his phaser out, and of course the Capellans, they kill him for brandishing weapons, because that was a big no-no. Wasn't that like something they talked about before they got there? Like,
oh yeah,
don't show
that if you show aggression, then they will take that as a sign of war, and they will act accordingly. And so,
before moving on, I would just like to say that Krass, played by the wonderful Tej Andrews, who passed away January 27th, the day before my birthday, in fact, 2007, at the age of 86. So, ladies and gentlemen, still
100% KD ratio, boom, 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 loving it.
No scoping out here, no scoping.
Just straight up, just straight shots, just pow, 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 pow.
So yeah, I mean, within before the credits even rolled, we got a dead red shirt.
Right? You know, so
before the opening titles, we got a dead red shirt.
He sees Klingon, boom. He pulls out a phaser, and then he gets a knife to the chest, and open credits then. And we spent the whole episode just Kirk and the crew just trying to negotiate these rights, and trying to tell them that the Klingon is lying, and the Klingon is not Klingon is not good for business.
Klingons are bad, okay?
Klingons are bad, okay? So don't be a Klingon. Klingons are bad.
Don't be a Klingon. Don't be a Klingon, Shay.
Yeah, Shay. Don't be a Klingon. That is bad.
Oh my goodness. Well.
So during the process of their negotiation, then Klingon says, basically they challenge him to a duel, and no, not him, not the Klingon. It was the other guy that the Klingon had dealings with. He challenged Ma'ab challenged,
or Mob. I can't remember how they pronounced it, but yeah, like Mob. The leader of the Capellans, Zakar, he's kind of leaning towards the Federation.
Yeah,
he's like, I want. He's
leaning towards the Federation because hey, they approached me first. They haven't lied to me. And what they saying is that, hey, we're gonna keep all of our stuff. They just they're just trying to make a deal. We keep our stuff, and our stuff is ours, and he's saying that the Klingons, we're gonna end up enslaved. So, and they haven't lied to me yet, and I don't know him, but I do know him, and I know he's not lied. So
and I'm fully convinced that Mayab is just perpetually grumpy because of the uniform. Come on.
he's looking like I'm supposed to be a warrior. Why am I looking like I'm getting ready to go to bed? Why are my pajamas on? Why do I have this stupid hat on?
Yeah, it's like he's wearing pajamas wrapped in a tapestry.
Like with the towel on his head, but with
a towel on his head.
But with like a curtain cloth tent thing. With like another towel.
Like a tapestry you'd see hanging. It's like got tassels on it. Like
he's wearing
my mom's rugs in 1979.
Yeah. And it's just like, what? Why? I don't understand that, but, you know. So he challenged a car to a duel. So in the process of a duel, a fight breaks out. And the Klingon and Ma'ab, you know, execute their plan to perfection, and a car is done. He is no longer within the picture.
Right, and as we've already been introduced into the episode, a car has a wife, Eileen, who is pregnant, played by Julie Newmar, by the way, the wonderful Catwoman of
19
Batman past.
Yes, the 1966 Batman movie.
Yep.
So yes,
and but that unborn child represents a possible threat to
his mob's leadership.
Power. Right, his leadership, his claim to the throne, so to speak.
Right. So
his claim to the shag recliner. These people got some bad fashion sense.
Like.
What were these costume designers?
Oh my god, the costumes are it's so just the rags and the furs and all that stuff like that. Okay, I get that's supposed to be kind of like the symbol of like opulence, but it doesn't come across that way. It really doesn't.
I mean, I do understand that this show was made at the height of the hippie era.
Right. Yes, it was. Yes.
And we'll revisit that again when we get to the space hippies, like the actual honest to goodness space hippie episode with like Chekhov's old girlfriend, and they were like playing their little songs. You know, Spock was another jam session on Star Trek with them.
So of course we have to have.
George says he can't hear you on the YouTube stream.
He can't hear me, or can't hear at all on the YouTube.
He says he can't hear you.
Well, what in the hell?
About me.
Well, let's see what's going on with that. I'm not sure.
Showing me. Refreshing anyway. But
that is weird. Hang on. You know, let me.
Coming through okay, he says.
Says you're coming through okay, but I'm not.
Correct.
Well, ain't that just about
bitch?
A bitch. So, what am I gonna do here? Nope, that's not it.
And check out over on the Rules of Nerdquisition YouTube channel. We're streaming there too. Maybe you can hear them there.
Yeah.
GCPR.
You should be able to hear me on that one, but it's just the GCPR one. I don't know what the hell is going on with that.
The feed does keep buffering. I am seeing that. It doesn't seem to be doing it over on the Rules of Nerdquisition though. So.
But just on
just hates
on the
GCPR hates us.
God damn.
This is back us having to find that. We're going to find that alternative to Streamlabs, but
yeah. Let me see what's going on here.
But while you're working on that, continuing the story, Kirk and Spock and McCoy managed to escape certain doom with Eileen at the hands of Mayab, and they run to the hills. Run for your life.
It just running up that hill.
I'm a heavy metal nerd too.
Just running up that hill. Let's see, is it?
But of course, the Capellans are in hot pursuit.
Of course, hot pursuit. Hot pursuit.
Punch it, Margaret.
But yeah, it's something. So yeah, and then they find out that Mob and the Klingon, they got some dealings, and they've got a whole plan at work, and the plan is all coming together because they love it when a plan comes together.
They love
a little bit of 80s reference for you.
Love it when a plan comes together. Absolutely. We just need to drive away in a big black van now.
Right? Oh,
but yeah, so the Capellans end up catching up to him, and there's this whole thing like you can't touch the tier. That's the leader, I guess, of the Capellans. That's the title.
Right.
You're not supposed to touch the wife of a tier. But McCoy, being McCoy, is determined to assist with his childbirth.
Yeah,
it takes one turn after another. Like, this woman doesn't want to have the child. She doesn't want to be touched. But then she acquiesces to it. And then McCoy she's worried the kid's not going to have a place in culture. And McCoy's like, just keep telling yourself the child is mine. But she thinks he's saying the child is his. And it's just
it's a whole shit show. It's essentially just a one big shit show.
It is. It is.
But so eventually McCoy wins her over.
Help because Scotty and the Enterprise crew got called away.
Right. So
on a fake stress signal.
Yeah, they come to find out that it was a bunch of Klingons. Klingon, see?
Klingon, see?
Whole bunch of Klingons in the area, see? It's all Klingons, see?
Klingons are bad.
They're all bad. Klingons are bad. So don't be Klingon, because Klingons are bad.
Oh, that is so interesting to sit here and look at this, watch two different streams, and watch Ghost Claw buffering, and Rules is just fine. That is the craziest thing.
It is odd. I don't know.
Did it ever get caught up on the TikToks?
Oh yeah, TikTok is fine.
Oh.
TikTok is fine. Yeah, we're going fine on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's weird because usually about this time TikTok is acting up, but I don't know. Our YouTube is fine, so
yeah.
GCPR.
Listening over on the GCPR YouTube, we're having buffering and audio issues over there. We do not know what's going on. Hey Chaos, welcome to the show. If you guys want to continue listening on YouTube, you can pop over to the Rules of Nerdquisition's YouTube channel. We are live there as well, and it seems to be doing just fine. We're also live on TikTok.
Yes, and so
on the radio.
You pop over to Rules of Nerdquisition YouTube, and subscribe. Like it, share it, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, pass the word.
Do all
that fun thing.
Do all the things.
There are space hippies in this episode, Chaos, but not actual space hippies, but kind of like pseudo space hippies.
Yes.
But this is what you get when you make a sci-fi show in the middle of the hippie era.
Yeah, eventually you get
1967.
So you're gonna get space hippies. So it is what it is. Anyway, Chaos, what's up, bruv? So yeah, we do have some space hippies, especially what those warriors were wearing.
Yeah, it's something else. It's something else. But the Capellans, Eileen ends up escaping from Kirk and crew.
Yes.
And runs back to the Capellans and tries to tell them that
she killed all of them. They don't have to keep looking for them. They could just move along. But it seems that I guess they had a plan, because when she dipped out and she ran, I guess they followed her and proceeded to set some kind of trap, or they worked out a trap, and they basically got the drop on everybody. Because they found the terrain with the path that they were walking through, and saw that essentially a loud enough vibration would be able to kind of drop rocks on top of everybody. So that's what they did. They were dropping rocks on everybody, making it rain. Said just make it rain, and that's what they did. They made it rain rocks on all of them. Mm-hmm. And shooting arrows, shooting rocks, phasers going. Chaos is everywhere. Well, not you chaos, but the other kind of chaos.
Still.
And
I
yeah.
mean, at the end, Eileen, Mab, he ends up sacrificing himself once Crass whips out a razor and starts threatening everybody, and it's like, oh, you just screwed up. You just broke the one rule they said at the beginning of the episode you're not supposed to do on this planet.
Right.
It shows signs of aggression. So Mayab sacrifices himself, but then, another warrior in pajamas
says,
number.
And he flings a knife in the chest, just like he did the guy at the beginning. The red shirt at the beginning, he got a knife in the chest. Klingon got a knife in the chest. Everybody gets a knife in the chest.
Everybody gets a knife in the chest. It's a good one-stop shop, Well,
yeah.
Do not pass go directly to jail. Do not collect $200, but you can collect a knife in the chest.
Well, that is true. Collect a knife in the chest. Knife in the chest.
So Eileen ends up becoming or acting regent of the Capellans and authorizes the mining agreement with the Federation, and that the child has been named Leonard James Akar.
Leonard James Akar, of course. Yes, and it was funny to me.
The one gem in this episode when Spock says that just means that Kirk and McCoy are going to be insufferable for like a month.
Sir. And of course, he had to end it with sir. Sir. I think you two are going to be insufferable for at least a month. Sir.
Yeah.
And then somehow or other that McCoy becomes the father now. So I guess he's like the stepdad.
We're into that whole Superman thing. The son becomes the father becomes the son, the daughter becomes the regent, the cousin becomes the captain of the Enterprise. But a whole bunch of stuff.
The crazy uncle's the doctor, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. So I understand what DC Fontana was trying to do with this episode. As a woman who's a writer, wanted to make an episode with a strong female character, and certainly Julie Newmar was capable of carrying that out. And she wanted this character to not have children or not want children, and that's fine. Girl, the set designers didn't work with you on this one.
There's something about it. It was just
the costumers. They were like, watch this.
So it'd be funny. Okay, so they call them warriors, right? So we're gonna have them wear funny hats, but it's gonna have a towel on the end of it.
And you know what? It should have tassels.
It's gonna have tassels. It's gonna have tassels because why?
Definitely.
Tassels are a symbol of the warrior.
Right,
the more tassels you have.
Color scheme, like Mayab is wearing black. His right hand man is wearing orange and pink. There's like
there's no real
here?
Right. There's no kind of a way of denoting whose rank is what, like it's just
exactly.
Is this guy a guard or is he next in line for the throne? You know, is he the king? You know, you just don't know. You don't know. But I'll say one of the funniest things was, for me, was of course when they first get there and they're settled in, and Kirk and Spock and who else? Kirk, Spock, and McCoy were sitting in their tent, and one of the women comes in and they sit the basket down and they get ready to start giving, you know, Kirk something to eat. And McCoy goes, "Don't take it, you know, because otherwise you're gonna have to fight." And I'm like, damn.
Kirk should be like, so.
He's like, and
I'll do it.
But essentially, I guess what he said is like, "You're not gonna get laid, dude. The only thing that's happening is you're just gonna have to throw hands." That's going to what's happening. Oh man, this
Star
is
Trek, the original series really excels, I think, on with stories, as I've said before, where they beam down to these planets that look like they have like their stage sets,
right?
The weird music in the background, the mystical sound effects and stuff like that. That's where it really excels. This,
Yeah.
Again, I see what DC Fontana was trying to do, but this wasn't it. This wasn't it, girl. I'm sorry, it wasn't it.
Said no, and George like, coochie coochie coo, Captain.
Oh man.
If there was not any kind of like creepy, cringy type of trying to soothe the baby, it was definitely McCoy. And a oochie coochie coo, oochie coochie coo.
You get really smart episodes, like last week's Journey to Babel. You get these really thoughtful, smart, intelligent episodes that deal with, again, the affairs of the Federation, the founding species, all this different stuff.
Yes.
Or, you know, exploring strange planets, but going to Land of the Pajama People, it's just was not what I had in mind.
It said not on my wasn't on my bingo card for this star date, you know.
No.
Oh my gosh, but it was it was interesting. You know, I could see the concept behind it of, you know, this having that strong female lead. You know, I get that. I understand it, and I'm cool with that. I just think the execution of it, I agree, just kind of the execution of it was just done wrong.
That's very much so done the wrong way.
Yeah.
I struggled to sit through this episode again. I struggled. I probably paid more attention to the games I was playing on my phone while it was the actual episode itself. I was too busy playing Township and building a new pig pen for my farm. Like,
it was like, oh right, yeah, Star Trek. You just go back to playing on your phone. It's like, oh yeah, right, Star Trek.
Now, to be fair, next week's episode is one that actually scares the crap out of me. It really scared me as a kid, because as a child, I don't have the fear anymore, but as a kid, I had a deathly fear of growing old.
Oh yeah, I think as a kid, we all had that fear. Yeah. So
next week's episode is the deadly years, where Kirk and McCoy and Spock, and they get some kind of condition that causes them to rapidly age, all while, you know, dealing with a Romulan threat.
Yeah, of course.
So that'll be a fun one. That's a good one. I watched about half of it after.
Oh. All right. It's like,
today's episode was about what not to do when writing for Star Trek.
All right. Like I said, you know, I get the concept. You know, I understand it. I totally agree with it. I love the idea. Strong female lead. Love it. Dig it. All for it. Your execution, not so much. Not so much.
No.
Not so much.
And again, with having a strong female character, I think that's a great idea. I know that Star Trek is known, obviously, for having Uhura on the bridge as a black woman, which is fantastic.
Correct. Right.
I don't think she really came into her her own power though until the movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was still considered. She was still kind of dismissed as just a woman on the bridge.
Yeah, right. But it wasn't until actually the movies that she really started to kind of shine.
Yeah, she was
much more
badass bridge officer that we all wanted her to be. And poor Rand, that girl got abused.
Oh my God. Series. The whole series, she just ran through. I mean, pardon the pun.
Got nice legs, wear this short skirt, and just look.
So just wear this. Say wear the skirt, carry this tray of food. That's all you need to do.
Tray of food.
That's it.
She was really good in Charlie X. That's about the only episode I've ever seen her in where she had some kind of self-reliance, some self-determination, everything else. And
right.
Again, she's just reduced to the pretty blonde girl in a skirt. So.
Yeah.
But
so, and it Yeoman Ranch, she just got she got treated horribly, just every which way she just got treated badly.
I mean, and then with Kirk oogling every cute yeoman or
so literally any and everything.
Can you sign my Etch-a-Sketch, please, sir?
It's like, yeah, I'll sign it. Like, oh my God, man.
So yeah, that's what's bad. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's episode. This one, it wasn't the best review on our part, but we had to struggle through.
Because
we had to fight through it.
Because here's the it's a very simple plot to the episode. Again, like I said, I understand the concept to it, I agree with it, love it, but it's just the way that they did it. It just didn't hit quite right. I think not the way that DC Fontana, intended for it. You know what I mean?
No. And being a woman writer in the 60s at the time, you can bet your ass that some of the men who were at the upper levels of the show's production probably had had their hands in it. They were changing things. It probably is not like her original idea. I mean, it might be some shadows.
Yeah.
There, but.
Oh yeah, it was probably a lot of them. I say I don't think it did that. The people would like that. I think you need to change this. I don't think so. Yeah, I mean the original concept, original script to it probably just absolutely phenomenal. But what we got was this. So
yeah, he probably wanted. She's like, okay, here we got these Capellans, right? And they're like a warrior race, kind of like the Klingons. I want to give them like armor, and we're going to hire because they did hire all these like big dudes to play the Capellans, all very tall
because they were very large individuals.
Stacked dudes, and they bring them in, and she's like, I want them to wear armor, and it's like ceremonial battle stuff. And one of the producers is probably like, yeah, we can't afford that, but the Wizard of Oz has some leftover costumes from the Land of Oz from the end of the movie. We could just put them in that. How about that? It was like
we got some
colored stuff.
So we got some bed sheets too. I mean,
we got some bed sheets for all the crew we don't pay that has to sleep on the floor in the back of the studio.
Right. Excuse me.
That brings that
but
episode to a grateful end.
And So, vampirist. So yeah, Kirk liked anything that walked. Yes, absolutely. You know,
And yes,
Zio, what's up, man?
Interracial kiss did. We will get to that. I don't believe that's this season, but
No, I think that is
I think it's
next
season 3.
Yeah, I believe so.
Double check here though. Where are we at? Just going down. So next week's a Deadly Years. We still get. I still can't wait to do that episode. Piece of the action, she.
Oh, I'm waiting on that one.
It's only a few weeks away.
I know.
Weeks away, yeah. So no, yeah, that one, and that's the one with the like the Greek people with the mind powers that can make the crew do what they want them to do. Plato's Stepchildren. That is season 3, episode 10. So that's good halfway through next season.
All right.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We were kind of talking about what today's topic would be post episode review. I saw a meme on on Facebook. It had 2 pictures on it. The first one was the Star Trek crew from The Next Generation.
Right.
They're standing on the bridge, and the caption is, "This is the future we wanted."
Yes.
Bottom picture is a picture of Elon Musk wearing a Nazi uniform and says, "This is the future we got." But my brain automatically imposed the Empire over that from Star Wars. So kind of a, same thing. Star Wars is cool and all. I like Star Wars, but I mean, I don't know that during the height of the Empire, it would be a great thing to live in that universe.
No, I don't believe so. I mean, we see, I think they went a little bit in depth in it. Lucasfilms and Disney kind of went, like I said, with shows like Obi-Wan, Andor. I think now with I keep calling it Goonies in Space. I can't remember the name of it, but Skeleton Crew.
What a perfect descriptor though for Skeleton Crew.
It's Goonies in Space.
Goonies in Space.
Yes.
Goonies in Space.
And so it just kind of gives you, a little bit more background of what actually is like with, the average citizen, with the Empire and rule, as the ruling,
Andor was great for that. Like, I know how oppressive and horrible it would be to live, in a prison too. He was in a prison there for a short time. And
so I mean, we see kind of background, stuff like that on how Empire rule affects just the normal, regular schmegular everyday person. Whether they be, living on Coruscant to all the way out to the Outer Rim.
Yeah. So I just altered that meme in my head. We wanted space socialism. What we got is space fascism.
Yeah, and, not even space capitalism, just straight into it.
Straight up fascism. Yes. And for all of my, for all of my love of Darth Vader and stuff, he's fictional. He's not real. If he was real, I would probably hate him.
Because I mean,
but at least he'd still look cool. Our villains don't even look cool,
right?
But I saw another meme, and I could not believe it. There's a picture of Elon Musk standing behind President Trump in the Oval Office during that little presser they did last week when Elon had his, booger picking kid wiping Resolute desk. Still would have flicked it at Trump, kid.
Right.
Look at Trump next time.
I
know you're going to grow up to be a horrible oligarch and a terrible human being, but while you're at it.
While you're at it, and while you got the chance, just pew.
Vampirist. If Elon were to get deported, I'm going to scream, "It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground."
That's hilarious.
That's absolutely perfect. But this picture, so Elon is standing behind Trump while Trump is talking, and Elon's kind of got his head down and his arms folded over his chest, and it almost perfect reenactment of Darth Maul standing behind the Emperor.
Yes.
in the little transmission at the beginning of the Phantom Menace when he's like, "Not for their shit." Maul comes up and does the thing.
So it's just
like, I was like, oh my god, but these two look like idiots,
right?
Darth Sidious and Maul look cool. Y'all are rich. Can't you go get like 3 hours of prosthetic makeup on and make it look cool at least?
I mean, something. I mean, damn, anything. Like not even try to like the fake it till you make it. I mean, it's just it's not Darth Sidious, it's Darth Idiot.
Darth Idiot, exactly. Oh, jeez, and that's just it. Like, and that's when it comes back to the Star Trek versus Star Wars thing, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Sort of the differences between the two. I will always say that I love both franchises. Star Trek, hands down, is my favorite. It's my earliest memories of introduction to sci-fi is with Star Trek, watching it with my dad as a kid. And it's just that again, that's it. Aside from a few episodes throughout the various series of Star Trek, very seldom are there issues where there's some kind of conspiracy or something on Earth. I know we had that one episode with the little slugs that tried to take over Starfleet, stuff like that, but Earth is largely doing just fine. It's not like Kirk and crew or Picard and crew and them are getting messages every other day saying, "Oh, there was a riot here in France or there's social unrest." That's all things of the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
Disease, suffering, starvation.
It's just, yeah. Again, it's just like you said, like in the past. But
whereas even in a Star Wars universe, even post Empire, you have to like climb across a rocky shore just to milk some blue milk,
right?
Thing. Because you wanted something to dunk your space Oreos in, I guess.
I guess so, because don't know where you're gonna get just like
yes,
just cow's milk.
Dark Helmet was smarter.
Yes, very so much so.
If I so much as, I mean, literally, as fast as Trump and Elon are doing what they're doing, they're this kind of shock and awe campaign to throw everybody back on their heels. The Democrats can't do anything, but really it's just all smoke and mirrors to hide the fact that they're about to extend those $4 trillion tax cuts that's only going to benefit the 1%. Might as well just, Elon should have just got on TV and been like, ludicrous speed. No.
I might as well, because that's exactly what we're heading at. So just for no reason, other than just one dude wants to make more money than he actually needs.
Well, and we think about it too. It's like, and that's where the fantasy aspect comes into it, because I think realistically, the rebellion didn't really have a chance. They were outgunned, outsupplied, outmanned.
To a point, just literally out everything.
Out everything.
Yeah.
And we live in a world here where, we have, I get all those people that are like, I like the Second Amendment because I got to stand up against a tyrannical government. That's a fantasy. That's impossible.
Yeah.
So,
and I think a lot of times with a lot of people, they overestimate themselves and underestimate the government.
Yes.
You've
seen that skit, I'm sure, that comedian who's talking about the annual military versus the Second Amendment supporters showdown.
It's like, how confident are you? Friggin' a million.
Billion. Yeah, exactly. Dude,
it's like
cheap body armor from Surplus World, and it's got an AR-15 with a 30-round mag. But whereas Staff Sergeant Andy Baker
said, I don't know if this is fair or not, but I got a drone.
Predator drone. Predator. Are we starting now?
Said,
okay.
All right.
This button here. They're all standing in a group.
Oh, okay. They're all standing right there, and
now they're all dead.
And they're gone. So,
And I mean, I have to be obviously, when it comes to movies and franchises and fantasy and stuff, why did that happen? The answer is simple: because it's in the script. That's why it happened.
that's why, yes. So,
But I'm fully convinced that I mean, if the stormtroopers had any kind of real training and were, could actually hit a target, the Empire would have steamrolled the rebellion in such a in spectacular fashion.
Now there's a while back, I saw something where it said like the stormtroopers were they were actually told and directed and specifically told to miss on certain things and certain people, because Vader would use his battle sense, and knowing that in order at the end of what his end goal was that he would need this person, he would need these group of people alive in order to do something that only they could do, that he couldn't do, in order to get to the goal that he needed to. So there was a theory, kind of a conspiracy theory going around about that, saying that they weren't out to try to actually kill anybody. They were just out to kind of direct them into where they wanted them to go. So I don't know about that.
I would buy into that conspiracy theory if it weren't for the fact that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau made a joke of it in The Mandalorian, where the two biker scouts are trying to shoot that thing and neither one of them can hit it.
They can't hit it.
Neither one of them can hit it. I mean, really just made the whole thing a joke, mockery, and I'm just like, oh my god! You guys,
so, geez, really?
It was funny. I mean, props to you two for throwing that in. That was hilarious. They can ride these bikes at super high speeds, and
right.
Aside from the Return of the Jedi, when they're racing through the forest, I mean, they're also battling other people, But they were able to ride those things around indoor fairly efficiently without crashing into things just accidentally, but yet they can't hit a target that's unmoving on the ground 10 feet away.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only reason the Rebels won, because
it could hit them.
No, you could have it was the same thing for the Cobra troops in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
They couldn't hit anything either. You could literally have a wall of stormtroopers, 100 stormtroopers, shooting at a single charging target, a single charging person, and not one of them would hit that person. But Rambo can shoot straight up in the air and 100 people will die.
And it's just one arrow.
One arrow.
So one arrow, one plain, regular, schmegular arrow. Nothing fancy about it. Just
No. He's got some Yondu powers there, right?
Right. He just shoots it up, and then all of a sudden it lands in a barrel, and it just goes boom.
Oh gosh!
So that's what you call 80s magic right there. That's 80s magic.
That's the magic of Hollywood. It's so wonderful and awe-inspiring. Not anymore. We see right through it. We do see right through it.
Yep, absolutely.
So we've got space Nazis, and it got me thinking. I've just been kind of rolling this over my head over and over, because I was watching some news stories and reading some other stuff. You've got Hakeem Jeffries out there basically just giving up on TV, like, I have no leverage, I can't do nothing. Oh, they're the bad guys, I got no number.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that, again, the difference between fantasy and reality, if everyone in the country just sat down like a little kid does when they don't want to do something, like, I don't want to go, and just sit down on the floor and not even move. If everybody in the country did that, at least the majority of us, not the MAGAs aren't going to do that, but we could literally shut everything down. We should just sit down and be like, we ain't going to go to work, we ain't going to do nothing, we ain't going to do shit until President Trump resigns. Rule over these ashes, motherfucker. Swear jar.
Swear jar.
Swear jar. Swear jar. Good thing I don't have it set up yet.
No, but I mean, you're right though. I mean, if religious people just one day they just kind of folded their arms and they just said, you know what, I'm not doing anything. You know, see how long they could be able to hold out. And so yeah, they won't be able to hold out that long.
Very good message. Yes,
That is
echoing the words of the venerable Qui-Gon Jinn.
the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. That is so true. That is so true.
I'm still trying to figure out how the Gungans managed to make such fantastic society. I mean, their underwater cities are beautiful. They got cool ships and stuff, and
Right?
every single one of them are blathering idiots.
Like, I mean, how does your construction go down there? And I say it because, all right, how, like they have, floors and chairs and steps and all the stuff like that. And so, how they have the materials in order to build that society down there like that? Because I know it's not just carved out of rock. Because I mean, they had to have.
This was like the technology, like
Yeah.
energy bubbles and metal
Yeah.
framing, and how would you do that?
Because I mean, with metal there, you have to forge it, in order to be able to kind of bend it, shape it, customize it to however you need.
And then drain the insides of water.
Yeah.
Not like, say, the Atlanteans in the DC movies. They have a city underwater, but they're still swimming through the buildings.
Right.
Still all full of water.
Yeah.
Still water people. So.
But it's like, inside these bubbles, it is, air, oxygen, whatnot. And so, how? How are they able to construct something that beautiful and elaborate and be just absolute morons?
And be absolute morons. And to me, I mean, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a construction specialist or anything like that, or an architect or anything. But I being a somewhat logical individual, I would see, it seems to me that something like that would have to be built above the surface and then submerged afterwards.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's no above ground facilities that we're aware of. They live in the swamps and on the shores, so it's like, where?
Yeah, there was no.
Again, it's the suspension of disbelief. You just have to assume they did it somehow. But my suspension of disbelief runs into a wall when I see. Boss Nass is an idiot. Jar Jar's an idiot. That other general, the one that like they're bouncing the bombs around in the big fight at the end. Like, you're an idiot.
Yes, they're all just idiots, and I just don't understand how.
They're all idiots.
How are you able to? How are you able to have a functional society and just be this stupid? I don't get it.
I don't
get it.
But it is almost 4 o'clock, so I'm going to reset the show. This is the Rules of Nerdquisition. We are broadcasting live on gcpr.live and also streaming to our YouTube channel at the Rules of Nerdquisition. We are kind of maybe sort of on the GCPR YouTube channel. It's been buffering, having audio issues. It does not like us. And we're also broadcasting on TikTok, and podcast format be available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts sometime later today. I got to catch up on some episodes and get us logged in. We were talking Friday's Child with Star Trek. We're not going to revisit that again because we didn't care for it that much.
Like, I mean, it was an episode, and it was there, and it was made.
And it cannot be undone.
That is correct. much like the Enterprise series, it's there, and it happened, and it was done.
Now we're just kind of doing sort of a potluck discussion, generalized the Star Wars future, or past, if you look.
It just mainly kind of like correlating it with, of course,
Future of Star Trek.
The future of Star Trek versus Star Wars, kind of how it ties in with society, the whole nine. Yes, we're having a nerdy / intellectual / slightly political / everything discussion. So I love the Orville. I love that show. Love it.
I am a bad nerd. I have never seen it.
Oh, it is such a great show.
Where is it streaming?
Last I saw, it was on Hulu, but I believe it is
Hulu.
Is moved off of Hulu since then.
Disney Plus.
I believe so.
Google isn't lying to me. I can watch it on Disney Plus. I'll sit down and watch it because I'm at this moment. I'm all Star Trek out. Well, that's not true. I have to watch Lower Decks. I haven't watched Lower Decks yet, and I've been wanting to get to that one. I'll probably do that during work.
Yeah,
next
Let's
week.
see.
So there's 5 seasons of that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but see, the thing with Orville, it's like Star Trek. It's almost like a parody, sort of. But here's the thing: where
I heard it started as a parody, but then kind of got serious.
Yeah,
that's what my dad said.
Yeah,
he's watched it.
It's kind of like a parody, in the sense of, it just kind of finds the humor in like Star Trek. Sort of like Lower Decks, where it finds the humor in certain situations. Mm-hmm. But then it uses more science than science fiction. Whereas how, traveling through space, just kind of how different species, how you would interact, stuff like that. And it focuses more on the actual science and physics rather than the fiction part of it. So I said it's good. It's good. I said it starts out a little bit, funny, but then, like your dad said, it shifts to where it starts getting a little bit more serious.
I will definitely check it out. It's good to have some sci-fi on there. I didn't have access to it before, but now that it's on there, I think something a little lighter, especially after seeing, like, as far as like Star Trek parodies go or homages or whatnot. Mm-hmm. The episode of Black Mirror, the USS Callister, that episode is terrifying.
Yes.
That episode is terrifying.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I've seen that, because it was a guy that essentially had like a bunch of people trapped and living out a fantasy of his of being on like a Star Trek parody show.
Starship. Yeah, so what does this guy? It's like a bumbling idiot who has no friends. No one likes him. He's kind of unpopular in real life. And somehow he takes DNA or copies of people in the real world and then creates them in this fantasy world that he's built. But they're also real. They're self-aware. That's right. Yeah. So they're not the actual person, but they are self-aware, which makes it just as terrifying because they think that they are that person.
Yeah. When we see even, and they want to, and they're trying to get away from the guy because they know, because again, like you said, they're self-aware. But
he's got complete control over this program, this alternate reality, this virtual reality that he's created.
So he's thinking that they're thinking they're trapped inside. Yeah. And not realizing is that. Yeah.
He's sadistic and cruel and tortures these people, mentally abuses them, emotionally abuses them. It's just.
Yeah. That's a terrifying situation. That is absolutely terrifying. And in that guy's perspective, he probably thought he wasn't doing anything wrong. because it's just a program. Ugh, what's the matter if,
Yeah,
you
in his
know,
mind, they're not real people.
yeah, they're not real people. They're just ones and zeros. So how's it bad? What's bad? What, you know, what I say to her, because it's just a one and a zero. What does matter I say to him, because it's just a zero and a one. So
That is a very good analogy, Vampirus. It is a modern day Twilight Zone, the whole show, because
yes,
it is
absolutely.
very much monster of the week formula. Every episode is a different story, different people, different characters, none related to the one before or after. So I don't know if they've done any two-parters before. I've not seen all of them, but
No,
of
they
the ones
haven't.
I have watched,
Mhm.
they haven't. I didn't think so. I thought they were all individual standalone stories. So.
Said no, I've
But
not.
yeah,
No, not. I haven't seen one that carries on into another episode or anything that kind of is a spinoff or anything like that. But man, Black Mirror has some absolutely terrifying episodes.
I think the only reason it's a Netflix show, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I lost my
Mhm.
Netflix. I used to share my friends, but when Netflix did that thing a couple years ago, when they're like, you can't share passwords anymore, access to it. So that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Be that way. I don't care.
But but it's been a couple years since I've seen any new episodes of Black Mirror, so I'm not sure if it's with knowing Netflix, they may have canceled it because they cancel everything. Like they literally cancel everything. But
Yeah,
I hope it's still going on. Matter of fact, let me check and see, because since I'm on,
I'm already looking. I'm already looking at it. It says 21 October 2016 to present, still running.
okay, well, still going. So hopefully still get hopefully get a new season.
It's 27 total episodes, six seasons. It's only a few episodes a season.
Yeah. So I think seasons are like 6 to 8 episodes, something like that.
They don't even call them seasons; they call them series. I don't know. I don't understand what I'm looking at here. Makes no sense.
No, because I know in Doctor Who, before it went on Disney Plus, they would call each season a series. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah. But yeah, Black Mirror, yeah, absolutely vampirous. It's like Idiocracy because it's a mirror to society. And matter of fact, there was one episode. If I'm trying to remember it offhand because it's been a couple years since I've seen it, and my memory ain't like what it used to be.
Are we gonna go back to the honorary blonde again? We've named Gilbert
yes.
an honorary blonde.
I've been dubbed an honorary blonde because of my memory. Anyways, so this particular one, what in the hell do you want, little girl?
We have a visitor, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
A little fuzzy four-legged visitor, if I'm correct.
A little four-legged terrorist that wants to go outside.
Four-legged terrorist. Go ahead and let your puppy outside. I can man the wheel until you get back.
All right, give it just a second.
We're still talking about. I don't understand how this whole Black Mirror thing is working here, but it got me thinking about longest running television shows.
Oh,
and why I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that The Simpsons is number one at 782 episodes.
Well, I'll be back and we'll talk about that.
Okay. Intervention, ladies and gentlemen. I really wish we could get the GCPR YouTube to work for us. It has the biggest platform, the biggest amount of users. and we get the most viewers there. But it was buffering today. We were having audio issues. It's just not wanting to work with us on there, and it's been a real pain in the butt. Which is funny because our channel, The Rules of Nerdquisition, which has 17 subscribers, nobody sees it, but it's running fine. It's like perfectly smooth.
Oh my god, she is.
No buffering.
She has so much drama right now. She has so much drama right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know. Anyways. So there was an episode on Black Mirror where it was all it became a whole society of social media, and essentially your whole status and everything like that was all determined by how many likes you got on different posts, or how many views you got, or just like little stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And of course there were the group of people that were not on social media at all, and they were all considered the outcasts, and and you would see them, and whenever you would see, they would flip the picture of, if you are on social media, you had the likes and shares and blah blah blah, all the other accolades and everything like that. You had the money, you had the style, you had the perfect life, and all this other shit like that, right? But if you're not on social media, then you're dirty. You work well, the one person, she drove a truck. She was a truck driver, and she didn't comb her hair. She didn't comb her hair. She didn't have the Gucci bags and like the Prada and all this shit like that, right? And so because she wasn't on social media, she didn't really care about any of that stuff like that. And so the whole society was just determined on your likes, your shares, and the whole story focused around this one girl that was trying so desperately to basically become a viral sensation, but just kept failing and failing and failing and failing and failing until eventually that, boom, she to eventually, she burned every bridge, and people didn't like her, and then she got no likes, shares, or anything like that, and then trying to determine and figure out how to live outside of social media. And
yeah, it sounds like I know they touched on a lot of different. I can't remember all the ones I watched. It was really kind of, again, modern Twilight Zone. I don't really know how to explain it. It is a modern Twilight Zone. Just
it really is.
Here's everything's an alternate reality of some sort of another. But yeah, I'm just going through this list of like longest running shows, and I'm pretty much avoiding anything that's a soap opera. Like I'm pretty sure General Hospital has like 14,152 episodes.
Right. So thing like that. Because I'm pretty sure General Hospital has been on long before I've been born. I think
our lives as the world. I mean, are any of these soap operas even still around? Not that I care, but the only one I ever watched was, as a kid, one summer home from school, I watched Another World for a summer. And that one was always kind of weird. It had like some mystical stuff in it. And it was...
I think at some point, if you were a child in the 80s, and your parents or your grandparents or somebody or aunt or somebody watch the soap operas, you would end up having to watch at least a couple episodes.
Yeah, my grandmother was big. She used to call them my stories.
My
So if I
mom
was
did
watching
too.
if it was like I was watching cartoons in the morning or something on the TV, she'd come in at about 11:30, 12 o'clock, like, get off the
Say,
TV. I gotta watch my stories.
right?
All right, fine. But one thing, looking at this list, it really kind of interests me. Consider this. Grey's Anatomy
Mm-hmm.
has 438 total episodes running for 21 seasons.
Okay.
Star Trek: The Next Generation had 178 episodes and only ran for 7. So look at just the difference in number of episodes per season. Because Star Trek, I think, is
Yeah.
somewhere in the 25 to 30 range per season. So,
Yeah, because
which is a lot these days.
Yeah, because usually now seasons are now down to like 12 episodes at, I think
12
16,
episodes, yeah.
16 I've seen at most now. But during then at that time, yeah, it like Enterprise, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, TNG, it was all
Yep.
25, 26 season episodes.
Yeah, TNG had 178 episodes, DS9 had 176 episodes, and Voyager had 172 episodes.
Yeah, so again, it was just, I guess at that time period, it had to be, 25, 26 episode seasons, which now it's only like 12,
Yeah,
And
because I'm
which
looking
is-
at Discovery right now. Discovery's first few seasons had like 14, 15 episodes apiece, but by season 5, they were down to 10.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, again, at the most, it was like you said, 14, 15, right? Yeah.
15 season 1, 14 season 2.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing I can think of as to why that's changed now is, as far as like storyline goes, even like TNG and Deep Space Nine, Voyager, they had their storylines that went through, per season, but it wasn't enough to stretch between 26 episodes. 12, yeah. 14, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of those in between episodes were just filler episodes.
Yep.
But I think now, essentially because of money, they're able to to have the higher, be able to hire budget, sets, CGI, stuff like that, makeup, costume, the whole nine. The only drawback is that they don't have enough in their budget to do a 26 episode season. They can do 10, no problem, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
do 10 like that,
Yeah.
give you the high value, everything like that, but you can only do 10 seasons of it.
Right. Absolutely. Because, yeah, I mean, you can compare the special effects in Discovery to even just any of the big 3.
Yeah,
And
you can clearly
amazing
see.
effects.
Yeah, you clearly see
Can't do
that.
for 30 episodes. We ain't got that kind of money on this. around
Right.
here.
Yeah, so I
And
mean,
even Strange New Worlds is 10 episodes a season. That's
yeah,
it.
because again, clearly you can see, because the production value on that is way, way up. So,
Season
I mean,
3 is expected to also have 10 episodes. And yes, Vampirus, I
Mhm.
think every nerd on the planet can agree with that sentiment. We all miss Firefly.
yes, Miss Firefly. Not Joss Whedon too much, but definitely Miss Firefly.
Nah, we don't miss Joss. Sorry. After Justice League was a
Nah,
travesty on its own, but
Said,
also
I'm
use
good.
Are extremely problematic and abusive to your talent.
he says, "Yeah, I'm good on the Justice League. I don't need to. I don't need to hear that shit anymore."
What was the name of the dark-haired girl in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the actress? She had a real big problem with them.
Charisma Carpenter.
Charisma Carpenter, thank you.
Yeah, she was one that had a whole, traumatizing thing, dealing with Joss Whedon,
Mhm.
and just how he treated her, and And the whole night, it was... Whew. There's a lot of shit she went through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and obviously, Joss wasn't. He didn't discriminate because he was hellish to Ray Fisher.
Oh yeah.
During
during
of Justice League, Ray Fisher got screwed. I'm sorry. I am a Ray Fisher stan until the end of time. Okay, he got screwed because when we got the Snyder cut, and I'm not it's still Justice League, but he became the star of the movie.
Yeah. And you realize is that
heroes he was
yeah
dude.
Yeah, you realize that when you see the Justice League versus the Justice League, and you realize that that's why Justice League, a lot of stuff didn't make sense, because Justice League was more focused on Cyborg, where Justice League was more focused on Batman. You know, so
I did not realize that Carrie Payton played the voice of Cyborg in Teen Titans.
Yeah,
he's the king from The Walking Dead.
Yes,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he voiced for Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. Yeah, so he's been
actually had one white guy do the voice, Abraham Ben Ruby for Robot Chicken. And I guess Robot Chicken's a parody in and of itself, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Firefly was a great.
Oh, Firefly was great. Yeah, and he's
back, but they had to make that movie and then ruin everything.
Oh, yeah, and it also didn't help when Fox aired the episodes all out of order. It didn't help that at the time either. You know, now since with DVD, Blu-ray releases, now we see episodes in order the way they're supposed to be, and so now it makes sense.
I don't know. We're kind of in a golden era, you know, back to the Star Trek, Star Wars thing. I mean, depends on how you look at it, I guess, because I mean, there's always going to be the detractors out there. Every time I go on Facebook and I see something about one of the current Star Wars shows, the comments are just littered with people like, Disney just killing StarArs, they're just ruining it. And there's a similar sentiment with the new Trek shows. I'm like, what are you talking about? Discovery was amazing.
Yeah, I've seen that about Discovery. There was one YouTuber that I would watch on occasion that he would always call it Discovery. And I'm like, have you clearly watched the show or like any of the Star Treks? Because, and again, for whatever reason, Star Trek just sucked because it's just too woke.
Too woke now. And again, we've been screaming this for decades. Star Trek has always been woke. Even in the 60s, when it was still a problematic time period, it is a product of its time, but it was still more forward-thinking than other shows.
Right.
Of the era. And that's when we get back to this Star Wars versus Star Trek future we're talking about. The very first episode of Strange New Worlds. Pike and crew go to this planet, and he ends up having that meeting with like the leader of the planet, and he's showing images of like Earth's history, which included the J6 riots. They showed it, and oh my God, MAGA folk got all up in
the feels. Of course. About it. Yeah.
I'm like,
because
why don't you want a shiny, happy future? Why don't you want that for everybody? Why?
Yeah, I don't get that. Because you see clearly in every iteration of Star Trek, I mean, there's the conflicts throughout, you know, all the galaxies and, you know, with Romulans, Cardassians, fucking, swear jar.
Swear jar.
You know, Ferengi, Andorians, every kind of alien species that you come in contact with. But as far as Earth and Federation on Earth, you see, and everything is clean, everything is bright, everything looks, it's nice, and the weather is nice, and even at the worst parts of the world that they show, it's still a lot cleaner and nicer and better than it looks now. So I agree. Like, why wouldn't you not want that? Why'd you want something else that only favors one person and everything else just looks like completely just like hammered shit? Except for this one person, he's living like a king.
Right. And I know that these topics will be explored more fully, We're not typically a political type show here. It just was something that popped up. Obviously, we'll cover these things on the Villain's View. Just for the record, the Kennedy Effect with Jeff Kennedy comes back today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. He will run until the villains get their time in the light. But, and we'll cover those more there. But I mean, it's just very important. Maybe they have this idea that like the Star Wars universe, even with the Empire, is still a little bit more lawless. You could just jump in a freighter and just fly away and go wherever you wanted to go and do whatever you wanted to do, kind of thing. But there's no hope, which is why they had to name one of the movies A New Hope, because they had to bring hope back to people in a galaxy that had none.
Right? Yeah. Because
I just, that's the thing that baffles me the most. I'm not the nicest person in the world. I can be a little bit of a bitch from time to time, but I don't understand the reckless hate that just people seem to want to fling at each other. And on the other side of that coin, them saying like, "Oh, I love watching what's happening. The dismantling of the government. They're going to save us all this money." You're not getting any of that money back.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to see a penny of it.
But I don't understand that.
I would say that both Leia and Luke were the New Hope. That was sort of the metaphor there.
Yeah.
They were doing their thing in two different venues. She was wielding political power, and also was a leader of the rebellion. And Luke was, he was the
farm boy.
Farm boy with the special talent.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the main thing that a lot of Star Wars fans has issues with the sequel series is because it's not tailored to them. Because it's not tailored to them, that's why they don't like it. Same reason why that they don't like Discovery, or they don't like Strange New World, because it's not tailored to them. Because they're so used to
part of themselves, and they don't like to see that.
Right. Because it exposes just that worst part and say, hey, this is the trait that you're exhibiting, and this is what its impact is on society. You don't like it because that's what you do,
right?
And you just don't want to take. You don't want to take responsibility for it. You don't want to accept that because you're thinking is that, well, if everybody would just do what I said, then everything will be fine. It doesn't work like that. Don't work like that.
No, it doesn't. And it's depressing sometimes. But again, I mean, that's why I always believe. I don't think that, my theory is, I don't think that vampires don't actually have a reflection. I think they just don't like to look in the mirror because they don't want to see themselves.
That's
what
possible.
people
Yeah.
are. They are freaking vampires, and they will suck the life out of you just to have a moment of, you know, to feel good about themselves, because apparently being a bully makes people feel good about themselves. Leia did
Yeah.
have the Force, even though she was still underdeveloped. You know, she never
She never finished her training.
realized her full potential.
Yeah.
Full potential. I mean, yeah, she trained off screen in between the originals and the sequels, but she never really. She's still.
Yeah. But it's still, she's essentially, she's think of it like this. She's still in training. She's not even a Padawan. She's literally just in training, like a jet, just in training.
I like Luke too, because Luke was never really a Padawan either.
Yeah, yeah.
He was just dropped off and trained by a frog in a swamp. You know.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. It's Michael Pruitt asks us, what are our thoughts on Section 31? So,
have you watched the full movie yet?
I have.
Okay.
I have. It's there. It's a Star Trek movie. And
so we'll have to add that to the cut, since we do typically review movies at the one movie at the end of each season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to talk about it now. But
so it was there. It's a movie. It was made. That's all positive I can say about it.
I think that Michelle Yeoh was fabulous. She is always fabulous. And as Philippa Georgiou, amazing.
Agreed.
No problems there whatsoever.
Agreed. I don't think this was the best kind of story for her in that character.
The thing that got me was the ripoff from Men in Black with the little goofy alien driving around the robot body. That whole character was just absurd.
It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary with piloting a robot Vulcan. Why not just have the actual Vulcan? I didn't understand that, but hey.
And all the characters that were interesting didn't get any screen time or got killed right away. I want to know more about the Deltans. I was like, cool, there's a Deltan in this episode, or in this movie, and she was dead within like 15 minutes of the movie starting. Like,
I mean, not even know, something, anything, Give us a clue just about Deltans or just her or such something in general, but I honestly will say that Michelle Yeoh, this was not the best story for Philippa Georgiou. Or at least not the way that they present it. It just wasn't the best story for me. I didn't like it.
I didn't either. Now,
I didn't like it.
It does take place in the mirror universe. Did I understand that correctly? Back in her own universe, right? It's not in our universe.
If that's just it,
she goes back home.
That's just it. I'm not sure, because the way that they say that, because it never really says that the timeline in it is during Discovery, where they're in the future or in the past. It doesn't really kind of, to me, it didn't say whether or not if it was in the mirror universe or in a different universe or in the same universe with Michael Burnham. It never really kind of explain that to me. It may have been in the mirror universe because we did see at the end of one of the season of Discovery, or one episode of Discovery, where she had to go back to the mirror universe because it was.
It is, it is in the mirror universe. I did just confirm. So the movie takes place in the mirror universe. I was asking that because if for those who are a little bit diligent and see things, did you notice that in this movie there was very briefly one of those half black, half white aliens from the movie, or from Charon in the movie? And I'm like,
I did,
In the main, I mean, they could very well still be alive in the mirror universe and not have the planet-ending battles that wiped out their species, leaving Loki and or Loki and the other one. His other name, but I was like, hey, wait a minute. That's where I was confused. Like, if this is the standard universe, Prime universe, then he should not be there,
right?
Because they've already wiped themselves out at this point.
Yeah, and so that was when I wasn't too sure on that one about. And then again, I thought, at the end of the episode of Discovery where she left, is like she was still working with Section 31, and I get wanting to get away from Section 31, but I just don't see how she got away from Section 31. Because if this is supposed to be a Black Ops type of Star Trek, organization, then they would have, keep tabs on her just 24/7. Or at least that's just me anyways. But there'd be no opportunity for her just to kind of, say, hey, you know what? I don't want to be in Section 31 anymore, so I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, this is one of those. You don't quit Section 31. Section 31 quits you.
Exactly.
It's like the mob. You don't just get up and walk out the door like I'm out.
So you just,
because they're involved in so many secrets and
not like
affairs that.
I mean, it's not like that. It's not a retirement division. It's not a division where you can just retire from. Just say, you know what, I'm done. No, it don't work like that.
Dr. Bashir didn't want to be in Section 31, and the one dude, what's his name? The Section 31 officer from DS9.
Oh gosh,
not Eddington, because that was the Maquis guy, right?
Let's see.
No, not.
See. So let's see. It says here. Section 31 episodes on DS9 Inquisition, Inter Arma, and Silent Legis. I'm not even sure I pronounced that correctly. In Extreme Measures. So let's see. And
there's some interesting stuff on Memory Alpha, though. I guess, I don't know how canon this is, but they're just talking about Section 31's influence in Star Trek. It was Section 31 who arranged for Admiral Cartwright to order Captain Kirk and Commander Spock to engage in the mission in which they stole the Romulan cloaking device.
Oh. Okay.
I wonder how Sloan. What's his name? Sloan.
Yeah, Sloan, yes.
He basically told Dr. Bashir, he asked Dr. Bashir, would you like to join Section 31? And Dr. Bashir politely said no, and he said, cool, we'll call you when we need you.
He's like, wait, what?
He didn't even give him the choice to join.
He was like,
I respect your decision.
I respect your decision. We'll call you. We'll call you when we need you. We keep your phone on.
When I beep you, you better call me back.
It seems like, the question was just like a formality.
I'm not sure how I felt about including Rachel Garrett in the movie. I never found her character that compelling in the one show, Yesterday's Enterprise, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm probably a little bit prejudiced too, because I also think that the Enterprise C is one of the worst looking the Enterprise versions. I can't stand it. It just looks. I like the Excelsior class. Obviously, love the Galaxy class. Sovereign class is pretty cool.
Right.
Ruff was pretty slick, although it didn't last very long. Got wiped out in the Borg invasion at the end of Picard season 3, but I don't really care for the Titan either, so the Enterprise G is kind of blue. And J is just wild looking. And it's insanely huge.
Right?
Insanely huge. Like, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, again, I just didn't. I guess the girl that played Rachel in this show, she's obviously not the captain of the Enterprise yet.
Right.
But,
right.
The one in Yesterday's Enterprise, I just didn't like. When she died, I was like, oh, cool. Now that commander guy can take over because he's cool. Richard, what's his face? The one that Tasha Yar kind of had a crush on.
Oh, yeah.
Costanza, Richard Costanza. Was it Costanza? Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo, yep.
Costanza. I think George Costanza.
Captain Kirk, I'm out!
It's a funny thing about George Costanza is I was watching the episode of Voyager the other day, Think Tank.
Right.
And the actor Jason Alexander's in it. It's like he's just standing there the whole time with his hands I don't know, like this the whole time. It's just like, I wanted to punch you in Seinfeld. I want to punch you in Star Trek, man. Get off this show. Get off this show.
Says there's something about him you just want to punch.
Mm-hmm. He's one of them. I'm sorry. You may be a nice guy, Mr. Alexander. I don't know.
But there's something about you just makes you want to just want to uppercut you.
You're so punchable. ISD, thank you. We appreciate the support. It's Rules of Nerdquisition is forever doomed to limited exposure. We can't get anything going anywhere. I've been kind of monitoring the YouTube. It's freezing and buffering the whole day on GCPR, but
I don't know what's going on with that, but
there's a reminder, folks, to go to the Rules of Nerdquisition over on YouTube because our channel works just fine. Thank you very much.
It is flawless, smooth, it is running, and you can see both of us in clear 4K, highly defined and redefined.
The last thing I was reading on the YouTube chat, somebody was talking about, we talked about Black Mirror like an hour ago. They're still commenting on it, so it's like,
but
usually,
yeah,
when I'm watching Thomas, The Sound of Coffee in the morning, usually if I've got both my TikTok and my YouTube up, YouTube's a 12 second delay.
Right, yeah, and TikTok is usually because for whatever reason they don't care. They said let it go live.
Apparently, Rules of Nerdquisition is far too controversial for YouTube's GCPR channel, so
I don't know. Something's going on with the connection to it, and as far as what I can see, it has something to do with Streamlabs. So I don't know.
We'll see about changing that in the future.
Yeah.
So
because as far as connecting with this one, with what I'm using now, yeah, technically it connects, but I think that because I may need to do something with my system on my end, maybe my connection or whatnot. I don't know. But see, it doesn't make sense because on Streamlabs, when I'm got that open as well, it's going just fine because Rules and Nerdquisition is going, absolutely flawless.
Just fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know why.
Yeah. See, even Michael Pruitt says the sound is better over on Rules. So everybody, just come on over to Rules and Nerdquisition. Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. Get us up there. Help us boost up our show. Get us up because everybody wants to talk nerd stuff.
Right?
But back to as we're coming up on the end of the show. Back to Section 31, since it is the newest thing. My dad loves Star Trek. He's the one who got me into it. He watches all of it. He asked me the other day. He said, "I see there's a new Star Trek movie on Paramount. Should I watch it? Is it good?" That is the only time I have ever said to him, "You could probably pass on it. Be all right. Go watch Discovery, Dad. Go watch Discovery."
Definitely watch Discovery. Yes.
Definitely watch Discovery. But you can pass on Section 31. It's silly at times. It doesn't explore the parts that were most interesting. Michelle Yeoh and the fight scenes are fantastic. She's
of course
a brilliant on-screen martial artist anyway.
Absolutely.
The rest of it drags and is boring.
Yes. My only issues with it, I have two. One was, of course, the Vulcan. The robot Vulcan. I did not much care for that. Second, was their banter at the end. I don't care for the banter at the end of, oh well, we're this ragtag group of people that and all of a sudden, because of we went through this whole fight and tried to find this item and beat this enemy, we have come together and formed this bond, and so now we're a family.
You're in the mirror universe. Everybody sucks.
Yes.
Why are you trying to bring morality over to the mirror universe on screen? Why? What the producers? What are you thinking? The mirror universe was kind of that playground where you could do whatever you wanted because it wasn't canon. It wasn't the Prime universe.
Right.
Just do whatever you wanted.
Right.
Out of it, a sandbox for Star Trek, and now you're trying to make it more like the Prime universe. Like,
yes.
You don't have to do that.
Say no. I mean, the whole point of the mirror universe is to kind of explore that option of, hey, what would happen if, without having to kind of rechange and restructure, redirect, change everything about the canon universe. You just say, hey, meanwhile, over in the mirror universe.
I don't even like the actor that played the Vulcan robot guy. It was...
My issue is that with him as well is that I've never heard a Vulcan with an Australian accent.
I mean, that should make sense. Look, I have no problems. I know that there's people out there like, that people lost their ever-loving minds when, oh my God, a black Vulcan on Voyager?
Oh my God, yes.
They lost their minds. I do want to tell a cool story about that. I now love Tim Russ even more. But different variations in color make sense to me. That doesn't bother me. But Australia is a place unique to Earth. It is a location with a unique environment, a unique location, a unique dialect. There should not be anybody on Vulcan who speaks Australian because there is no Australia in Vulcan.
Right? And Michael Pruitt of Australian. Yes, he was of Australian.
Oh, jeez, it was terrible. I can't even see his chats over there. My YouTube for GC bar is completely closed. I can't see anything over there. Anyway, I was watching something the other day. I was like a Voyager retrospective, Tim Russ
Mm-hmm.
loved being in Star Trek so much.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd already had a few minor roles. He was on that episode of TNG where they tried to steal something from the Enterprise. Him and some other when
Yeah.
Picard got trapped on the ship with his saddle. And then
Mm-hmm.
he would, obviously had a cameo in Star Trek Generations as a bridge officer, tactical officer on the Enterprise B.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he'd had a few roles, and he heard that he might have been consideration for Tuvok. And he had he was really desperate for work. He was not making a lot of money. He didn't know where his next meal was coming from. And he had some offers on the table. But if he took any of these offers, it could have potentially impeded his ability to be Tuvok on the show Voyager. That boy put food and a place to sleep aside and held out in the rare hope that he would get this part. He wanted it so bad. And he nailed it. And he got it. And I was like, that's cool. I mean, that's cool that you wanted the part. I love people, we've said this before, I love actors involved in these series, especially Star Trek, that appreciate their role, that relish the fact that they were in it. Not people like, until Captain, or Bill Shatner's later years, he often didn't like to be approached in public. He didn't want to be recognized for it.
Yeah.
And there's just some people that are like that. It's just don't be like that.
No.
Don't be like that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't do that here. We don't do that here.
But anyway, yeah, I thought that was a fantastic story. So, Tim Russ, you are awesome in my book, and no wonder you were in Picard season 3 because.
I mean,
again, duh.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, and that's just one of those stories where I'm already huge. Already love Tim Russ. Now hearing that story, it just makes you just like, you know what? Like him even more now. Didn't think I could like him even more than I already did, but now I do.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is he did some on-stage work with Leonard Nimoy when he was just a kid. And Nimoy was kind of one of his mentors in acting. And I thought it was interesting to think that, wow, Nimoy, you're famous for playing, the most famous Vulcan in Star Trek. And this kid here standing next to you that you're kind of guiding into a career of acting is going to become one of the other famous Vulcans.
Yes.
I mean, you have no idea that he's out there and going to do that. So that was really cool. But the good thing is Nimoy obviously lived to see Russ take that role.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that
Nimoy only died 10 years ago. So.
Oh yeah, so and just to think, he held out, everything he could for that role, and now he's an icon.
Yeah.
An icon within the whole franchise.
You're part of the alumni. There was if Star Trek was a college and the alumni had a secret club, like the Skulls or something, like at all these different universities.
Yes.
You go in a room and you would see not just pictures of Nimoy and Shatner and Kelly. You'd see Russ and Mulgrew and
right, absolutely,
Frakes and all these people, and you'd be like walking amongst this hallway, this rogues gallery of
yes, absolutely.
Star Trek badasses.
And I will say the one thing that was absolutely one of the most chilling things was in Picard when we see Tuvok, but it's not actually Tuvok. And I was like,
when he did that smile,
I was like,
that was so evil. That was so evil. I was like, oh man. But spoiler alert for all you people, that was actually a changeling, as they did bring them back in Star Trek season 3 or Picard season 3.
Picard season 3, yes. And
Borg, the changelings, we had everybody. on deck.
So, yeah.
The Federation that day.
And the thing was, is that
the changelings are still smarting over the loss of the Dominion War.
So yeah, so they gave themselves quite a bit of an upgrade. They upgraded themselves when it got to Picard. But
they did. But
we'll
get some other great people in there going forward. I mean, I think it's awesome that they were in there. And I do like the fact that Chakotay, the actor Robert Beltran, actually chose not to come back. I think he was offered the opportunity to come back for Picard cameo. He actually turned it down or said he wouldn't have done it anyway because, and I agree with him on this, the whole relationship between him and Seven in the final episodes of Voyager made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And he was like,
yeah.
He's like, the actor was like, I couldn't even see. But this is a guy who didn't even like Star Trek or Star Sci-Fi or anything like that. When he came in for his first reading for Voyager, he was like, what's a Klingon? He didn't even know. and therein lies one of those actors on the other side of that coin, the ones that distance themselves from it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to come back. And then they're like, oh, hey, let's get him on the phone and see if he wants to. Who's knocking at the door? I ain't even dialed his number yet. Oh, hey, Tim, what's up?
It's like, right.
All I did was press 162. I believe and I hope that Jonathan Frakes is the same, which reminds me, everybody, Gilbert and I will be at Comic-Con in Greenville in South Carolina, April 5th and 6th, correct?
April 5th and 6th. We will be at Greenville, South Carolina. Come and say hi to us. We'll be, probably do streaming some lives, here and there. So yeah, come up, say hi to us. 5th and 6th.
Seeing
we'll
how
be
quickly
there.
I can do it, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to do some stickers with our logo and our YouTube channel address on there. And we'll just pass them out to people. Hey.
So yes, follow us on YouTube. Yes. Because
please. Please
you'll say we'll post stuff you'll enjoy. We'll pimp ourselves out for you. We'll do anything. We'll do anything for like and share to subscribe.
and if you do enjoy our show, and those of you that do watch, you can go to Patreon, the rules of Nerdquisition. I'm gonna talk to Gilbert after the show here, and we're gonna get some tiers set up there on today. So if you want to help us keep the lights on and the mics blowing and the sound,
so we definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
We definitely would appreciate it.
That. Absolutely. Again, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the Kennedy Effect returns on GCPR. They broadcast on hot101.net, I think, and also the GCPR
correct
YouTube channel and all the other places. He'll tell you that. And then you'll see us again, the Villains, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Correct.
Flagship show of GCPR, I might add. The flagship show. So, and that's when we can avoid the swear jar. Other than that, next week we're going to be talking the Deadly Years, not Friday's Child. We're done with Friday's Child. Thank goodness it's over.
So yes, Friday's Child is now Saturday's gone. Saturday's Nightmare. Anyways,
I have nothing else to say. Yes, Friday's Child, Saturday's Nightmare. Bum bum. There's his 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Right, absolutely. So
nice for the win. I have nothing else to say, so leave you your final comments and send us home.
So yeah, and I don't have much to say either. We did the baby episode. We did the Nightmare Child, and it was cool, I guess. Anyways,
now we know why Catwoman never had children.
Now we know why. Anyways, everyone, remember to always keep your triples spayed and neutered. Live long and prosper. Take care.
Recording